What is happening, everybody? Today's video is a pretty funny deck. It's another Aphelios deck, but this time we're pairing it with Hecarim, and we're actually using Encroaching Shadows. So let's jump right in. I'll explain some of the stuff going on. It's a really weird deck, but it's super, super fun. So here's the deck. Of course, the deck code will be in the list below in the description, but the deck essentially, like I said, is Aphelios and Hecarim, but we're actually running 3 times Encroaching Shadows. So Encroaching Shadows grants all allies in deck +2/+2 and Ephemeral. So it makes all your units Ephemeral that are in your deck and in hand. There's a really nice combo with the Flight. So if you've ever played Katarina and made her Ephemeral by any chance, essentially what will happen is she will strike, but then her ability will bounce her back to your hand before the Ephemeral ability will kill her. Same thing happens with the Flight. So if the Flight gets its Nexus strike off, it'll actually hit the Nexus, you'll draw a card, it'll jump back into the top of your deck instead of dying from the Ephemeral. So if you can give this thing Ephemeral, you can actually get more powerful strikes on the Nexus and bounce it back to your deck while drawing a card without losing the unit to death. So obviously Encroaching Shadows is another way to give access to Ephemeral to that. You could even run the 1-cost Mark of the Isle, give it +2/+2 and Ephemeral. That would work as well. But in this case, one of the easier ways really is just Stalking Shadows. Stalking Shadows is crazy powerful with this card because essentially you can dig. You'll find the Flight. You'll get 2 of them because you'll get the regular copy and an Ephemeral copy. And if you're already casting Encroaching Shadows, even better. But if not, then you can really get a ton of elusive Nexus damage through. Pair that with the Stygian Onlooker and just have crazy. I mean, this thing with Encroaching Shadows is nuts. There'll be a 6/3 at that point with Fearsome, and then you can have the 4/3 with Elusive, and you can really just blast through with the Nexus with 1-cost units. It's pretty insane how much damage you can get through with that. On top of that, Aphelios in this deck, he's really using Crescendum as the main weapon of focus. We want to summon the 2-cost followers, and in particular, I mean, obviously the Sky Shadows is amazing to summon, but summoning the Sharks for free like that is super powerful because then later when you do play Ephemeral units, you'll get extra attack coming through with the Sharks. Right? The Sharks are amazing, but you can't always guarantee seeing them. This really helps. And then obviously if you find an Evershade Stalker, it's insane too because you can get that. It'll trigger the Nightfall with Crescendum and you'll get another one in hand. Really fun combo there. But again, both those units can't block, so you don't want to use this defensively. You only want to use that when you're on the offense. Other than that, I mean, it's a little bit of a Nightfall deck. We're running Unspeakable Horror just to give some hand value back, and Doom Beast for that extra little burn that sometimes Shadow Isles really needs. And then at the end, we're just running 2 Harrowing and 3 Hecarim just to kind of finish off the game. This is the list. It's like an aggro, mid-rangey type list. It's really all about Nexus damage and face damage, but it might win the game a few turns later than most aggro decks. So I'm kind of calling it a little bit of a mid-range. Super fun. Let's jump into some gameplay with it. And as always, guys, the deck list will be in the description. If you're around here and you found these videos, I appreciate you sticking by and watching. If you can leave a like, a subscription, a comment, help us grow as much as we can, it'd be much appreciated. Looks like we found a game. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get some crazy stuff going on. So Karma Aphelios is a really fun deck too that this guy's playing. It is super fun. Hopefully we can be aggressive enough to try to get some damage through. So really we don't need all of our 1-drops. We kind of want to combo those out a little bit later. But we don't really want the Evershade Stalker. We don't really want Unspeakable. And Hecarim's not good. We'll keep Aphelios though. He's super solid. So that's a pretty good hand. Pretty good hand there. I mean, not terrible at all. The Flight, like I said, we kind of want to play later. But he's still pretty fine early. I mean, being able to get 2 damage through and draw a card still is good. Still cycles our deck a little bit, so it's solid. But this card's super fun to play around with, so. So we'll definitely play the Shark Chariot. We're not going to save the mana for Aphelios at this point. Hopefully we can draw something to trigger him on like turn 4 or so. And we can just skip our turn 3 possibly. But let's attack with these. So the Flight will draw us a card, and we'll shuffle that Flight back in. Now we have another Flight in our hand, which is super nice, and one within the top 3 cards of the deck. So we can definitely get Aphelios triggered at some point. But an Encroaching Shadows has arrived, which might change our game plan. We might just go for that. It's pretty crazy when it works, so let's try it. Point of the deck, right? We also could just play the Flight, and then Aphelios, and then Crescendum. Like we have 2 options on turn 4. It's pretty good. We'll see what happens. If we draw the other Flight, we'll probably just Encroaching Shadows and play 2 Flights and really start trying to maximize that damage. But we'll see what we do. We have a couple options here. Like I said, we'll pass because we want this in our hand for when we play Encroaching Shadows, so it gets the +2. Encroaching Shadows doesn't affect your board. So we got the other flight, so let's try it. So Encroaching Shadows. Now our flights will be 4/3s, which are super nice. So we got a 4/3 the flight. We'll have another 4/3 the flight. He's playing a Veiled Temple, so he's slowing down, trying to build up some presence. But we got 2 the flights. We're going to attack with both. We get a Shark Chariot with that, with Encroaching Shadows. Obviously, the Shark Chariot is not buffed, but still, it's a lot of damage coming through. Flight's going off. We drew another Shark that actually is affected by Encroaching Shadows, so that's really nice. And we got another Encroaching Shadows, which is absurd. So he's getting a good heal off. So we're going to have to put the pressure on for sure. Messenger Sigil. He's got a bunch of dogs in his deck. He gets 2 extra mana. So here we have a couple options. I'm just going to Encroaching Shadows. We could play something here, but essentially all that would do, it would die at the end of the turn. So we could play the Shark, and then that Shark would die and go to the next turn. We're not going to play him right now. We're going to save him. We want that 7/5 big attack. So we could play Hecarim. Hecarim would be massive and do a lot of damage, but if he does have like an Obliterate, that's our whole turn, so that kind of hurts. So we're going to go a little slower than that. Play on the Shark Chariot here. And you see how these are still in the deck, so they keep their 4/3 buff as well with Encroaching Shadows, which is insane. They keep their power, which is really strong. So play the flight again. We're really trying to burst through damage, and obviously hitting 2 Encroaching Shadows is pretty insane, but we'll take it. And then Glimpse can help us just draw around if we need to. Yep, so he's just going to try to obliterate the flight, which will stop its nonsense, but we'll Glimpse Beyond, which should make us draw the other flight that we shuffled into the top of the deck, which is huge. So we made him waste all that mana. And a Stygian Onlooker, so both are good. Obviously, this thing will be an 8/5 after this, but he does have a blocker for that. That is really, really solid. So we are probably going to go with the 8/5 for now. He does have the blocker, like I said, then this can block one of these things, but that means at least 7 damage is getting through, which is super nice. So he should get 10 damage through. Or he can go that way, I suppose, instead of block the 8. He could have blocked here to take 1 less damage, but he took 11 instead of 10. But solid. So defensively, we don't have a whole lot we can do. So I will really just play Aphelios here, just so I can block the lifesteal unit if he attacks with it. And that's really the only reason I'd even play that. So Aphelios obviously is not shining in this game, but that's fine. We're just kind of using him as defense. And I will try to hit him with the Unspeakable, just so he has 1 less blocker. Oh, wait, I'm dumb. It should have just went right to the Nexus for the win. But he probably has a Deny or Notify anyway. Yep. So it would have been great if I actually had another one. That's in my head. I was like, yeah, it's going to get denied or notified anyway. But right, so he's attacking with that, which he'll just die here from Aphelios. Don't really understand why he wouldn't attack with the other 2 units, but he did not attack with the other 2 units. So we will play the Flight. We're going to try to get him to use some mana before we play Hecarim. Hecarim will definitely be leveled up at this point. So he's silencing that follower. Let's see if he has another Obliterate, which I don't believe he does. He played 2 of the Celestials. This was created from the Priestess, and then the other one was created from the Priestess as well. So we'll see what he has. He just has a straight Silence, which is good. So we can still attack. Wouldn't deal a ton of damage here. We're not going to win this turn. And he can kill Hecarim with that and kill that with the 1-drop. So we'll probably need to use a Glimpse Beyond here to try to draw. And we'll see if he counters it or not. And we could have done this before to try to draw another flight to get something out there, but we'll go with this. That's a really good option to finish the game, as is that for helping us get through. So we could have done that beforehand, but it really wouldn't have left us anywhere. And he is almost at 10 mana. So we definitely could end up losing this with Veiled Temple. So we got to really try to push through some more damage, which we might not be able to with the double casting spell. So we really got to see what our turn's going to look like, how much damage we're going to be able to get through, and what kind of spells he's going to double. So let's attack and get some damage through. So use Stalking Shadows, maybe find a Doom Piece, which would be great. We didn't. We found a Shark Chariot, which is fine. I mean, Shark Chariot's not bad. Wow, I could have played that first and done pretty good. Possibly one. Yeah, I mean, I would have been able to block one thing, so I think I would have been able to live, because I could have just played this or something instead. But still. Alright, so Karma's leveled, which is very bad, so we got to see what kind of spells he's doubling. He only has 10 mana total. If he doubles another Star Shaping, I probably can't win the game in any way. Stygian Onlooker is pretty solid. So let's see what we can do. We'll play the 7-6 first. Or the 7-5 first. Fearsome might be key depending on what units he plays. Okay, the double invoke is solid. But we gotta see what he plays. I mean, the spells here aren't all that important. He really needs to get like a lifesteal unit. Alright, so he's double silencing that. You got 2 mana back, but that's not really what we care about. We're probably gonna overwrite that anyway, to be honest. So the problem with the Evershade Stalker is with the Encroaching Shadows, the buff doesn't get to the other one since this one's created. And Evershade doesn't create an exact copy, he just creates a copy. So that is a problem with the card in this deck, but it's still worth it. Giving Karma, that doesn't really do much. So he passed again. So we have plenty of sharks coming out. But we need to do as much damage as possible here. We have 2 fearsome units. So let's see what this looks like, this attack with 3. We have 3 sharks coming out with it as well. So we'll just do that. Best we can do. I mean, we could have put more fearsome units out, but sure what else that really does anyway. And he's got no answers. So we got it. So he had just 10 mana to work with, so we obviously rushed it in. That was really close, though. Karma can 100% clutch that game up. She had another Star Shaping in hand or a Guiding Touch or anything to get extra healing, but you saw just the massive aggression that we just threw at them with both Star Shaping, or with both Encroaching Shadows and the Flight, and just using like tons and tons of damage, getting all those sharks out, and just kind of recklessly abandoning going for their Nexus as hard as we could. And it worked out in that one, and you know, that's pretty much how it goes, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you guys like the deck, you can check it out. It's in like a description right below. If you want to leave a like, leave a subscription, that'd be super appreciated. And yeah, as always, guys, we'll have plenty more content here for you. So until next time, peace out.